Welcome back to Daybreak USA.
When the sun won't shine and you don't know why.
Welcome back indeed. You know, when I'm perusing the internet looking for good news and sifting through stories, I came across a really cool website. Ashley DeCam is a blogger. She loves food, has a passion for health. She is a doctor of naturopathy, and she has a blog that speaks about real life and real food. Welcome to the show, Ashley.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I loved your blog. It's what we talk about on Daybreak all the time. You know, eating real food, close to the earth, clean, trying to stay as healthy as we can and take our health into our own hands. And you said that there is a real difference between real food and what most of us are actually consuming, which isn't quite real food. It's kind of frankenfoodish.
Absolutely. I think most Americans are wanting to be healthy based on sort of aesthetics, and so they leap into health food based on certain diets. And my philosophy and what I purport to my clients and also just on the blog and in my own life is really not following a diet at all, but just eating real food that was made for humans, nothing processed, nothing added, just close to the earth, like you said, and it just makes a huge difference in creating a real life for us here on earth.
And I think, you know, we get so used to taking things out of boxes. Sometimes when we come home from Costco, I'm stunned at the amount of like box material we have. And if we start looking at some of the ingredients, you know, I try to go for things, you know, healthy snacks for my kids when I do buy something prepackaged that I can actually pronounce the ingredients. When you start getting into like 10 and 15 different items on the list that you can't even pronounce, I have a feeling that that's probably not real food.
Absolutely. And I guess a challenge for all of us would be, hey, why not consume food that doesn't come in a package and that doesn't have a label, and then we wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, I sent my husband with apples and almonds for, you know, breakfast, and he actually he's kind of given up on some of the fast foods and eats some of the stuff I feed him, and says that his life is going to be extended because I've changed the way he eats. And you say that we can eat real food and live real life versus quote unquote dieting. Let's talk about that.
You know, like I said before, a lot of people get into the trap of dieting for health, but there's a misconception on what health really is. It's particularly in America. We equate health with how we look, and that's, yes, when people are healthy from the inside out, they glow. But at the same time, we're thinking strong, lean physique, and that's not really what health is. Health is a healthy mind, a healthy body physically, and a healthy spirituality. And a lot of that comes from what you put in your body, not only emotionally, but food-wise too. And when you're feeding yourself whole, clean foods, that actually helps to create a stable and wholesome environment for your brain and how you feel, and fosters healthy hormones. And so it's all encompassing. It's not, it is about food, but it's not just about food. It's about real life. So consuming real food creates a life of reality and real life. Does that make sense?
Ashley, earlier this morning, I was talking to a nurse practitioner that I know very well. She's very involved with nutrition because she treats cancer patients every single day as a nurse practitioner. That's all she does. That's her specialty. Mm-hmm. And so she really believes in the healing power of foods. And I go to like a kind of a raw food spa from time to time. And a doctor got up and he was talking to us about, if you had a Ferrari, wouldn't you put the best kind of gas in it? So how come as human beings, we don't put the best fuel into our own bodies? And if you knew what the foods were going to do to you eventually and how they could undermine your health and cause disease, would you put better fuel in your body now and treat your body like a Ferrari?
That's a great point. You know, I think a lot of people do know that, but we as human beings are all about immediate satisfaction and immediate gratification. And so if those Girl Scout cookies taste really good, or if we're used to eating that hamburger and it tastes really good right away, usually that's what we'll go for, and we don't kind of always process what's happening down the road, and that's where you really have to make an effort to fight that. And then once you get through that, it changes. It's a perfect example is in our household, we're not huge sweets eaters, but my husband ate more sweets than I did, and now that he's been on this track with me for a while, he can't even, his palate has changed completely, and so have his cravings. We can't he'll try, a chocolate covered almond from the grocery store, and not having had processed sugar, it's not even appealing to him anymore. He just wants real healthy foods that make him feel good. I think your body learns, well, immediate gratification was great, but now I feel fantastic, so I'm going to stick with this. That's not to say we're all human and every once in a while we indulge, but for the most part.
And let's talk about that real briefly. We have about 2 minutes left. Sugar is one of the weaknesses in our family for sure, and it's something I've kind of gotten off of. I do a lot of green apples and almond butter or natural peanut butter, and that really kind of takes part of the craving away from me. But I still eat dark chocolate. And what do you recommend for your clients that really are hung up on sugar, because it doesn't really put anything good into our bodies when we eat a lot of sugar? It's just a waste of bad food in our bodies that harm us. Really, we're hearing more and more about the harm that sugar does to our bodies.
A lot of times people are craving sugar for either emotional reasons, and you kind of have to investigate that, or because they're lacking really healthy fat and protein in their diet. We eat a lot of fat in our household, and one of our favorite things is avocados. And I actually have 2 really great recipes on my blog that kind of curb the sugar craving. They meet the sweet desire using avocado. They're avocado chocolate mousse, and then sort of a layered chocolate mousse parfait, sneaking some healthy fat in with avocado and almond butter and some unsweetened chocolate and just a date. And once you start really incorporating fat into your diet, I think you're just satiated in so many more ways. I was talking to my husband just this morning, and I don't necessarily I don't follow a diet, but I was just kind of looking at my overall eating for the last couple of weeks, and I thought, about 50% of what I'm eating is coming from fat, and I feel really, really good. And that's just, I'm satisfied all the time. I have great energy, and I don't have highs and lows, and I feel really good. My skin's great, and it's, I think people are afraid of fat, but that's not the enemy. It really is processed foods and processed sugars.
Well, love it. I love it. Craving for more. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll search for those avocado sweet recipes on your website. And give us your blog website.
It's www.craving and then the number 4 more, cravingformore.com.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Ashley. Happy clean eating to you. We'll be right back with you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
You too.